Okay, in today's class we'll discuss about the planning. So this is a planning definition. Okay, so there are various definitions of planning. So first one is planning is deciding in advance what to do, how to do, when to do, and who is to do it. Okay, so students, actually planning means what? We are thinking in advance. Okay, whenever we do anything or whenever we want to do anything, we do plan how to do it or what to do it, when we should do it, and who will do it. Okay, so exactly what we want at the end and from our current position. Okay, from our current position to the end. Okay, so that gap is there, no, that gap is covered by planning. Okay, so planning gives us a foresight. So another guy, so he is given another definition. So it's an intellectual process which requires a manager to think before act. Okay, one more. Planning is the management function that includes decisions and action to ensure future results. Okay, so this is given by Peter Drucker. So these are the definitions of planning. Okay, so you can see here, this is the nature of planning. So planning, students, is a rational approach. Okay, so you can see there in the diagram between time t, this, like as we have already discussed in an diagram. So t1 is our current status. Okay, t2 where we have to reach, that is our goal. So that gap between is whichever you want to bridge that gap, so that we do using planning, that is between the time t1 and t2. So it's an open system approach. So whenever we plan, students, uh, we take the information from an outside environment. So it's an open system environment. Then planning is very flexible. Okay, so we can change it and we can make it whatever we want. Okay, next is pervasiveness of planning. So that means planning is pervasive. So what do we mean by this? That means planning can be done by any level. Okay, people of any level, maybe high level, medium level, middle level, or the supervisory level. Importance. So why we actually want to plan? Okay, so the importance of planning explains you this. So it minimizes the risk and uncertainty. Okay, so uh, if we plan, then we exactly know what exactly to do. So it reduces the risk. And uncertainty means what? We exactly don't know what will happen next, so that problem is also reduced. So it leads to success. Okay, and we can focus on our goals. Okay, and we can have control over our work. It also gives a good training to the executives. It also minimizes the waste and redundancy. What do you mean by redundancy? Extra work what you are doing, so that problem is also solved. Okay, and whenever change happens, so whenever you are working, students, at any time the change may happen, so that impact of that change can be reduced by planning. So you can see the forms of planning, students. So based on different dimensions, we can segregate different types of planning. So on coverage of activity, we have corporate and functional planning. Okay, so corporate level we do the plan, that is corporate, and functional means within the whole entire corporate or a particular project we are doing, so that is functional level. Okay, as simple as that. Importance of contents. So strategic, once again, so it's a what we are planning for the future. Strategic means for the entire activity. Okay, so that is a strategic. It's a basically a long-term plan. Strategic plans are always a long-term plan, whereas operational or tactical is for a fixed time or limited time, and it is only for a particular thing. So that is a tactical operational plan. So tactical plan is once again nothing but it's how do you implement those strategic plans. So that is tactical planning. Time period, long period and short term. So long period usually more than a year or something. So short term maybe a 6 months or a small time. Approach adopted, yeah, proactive and reactive. Proactive means we have already planning from before. Okay, that proactive. And reactive means once something happens you plan, so that is reactive. Degree of formalization, formal and informal planning. Formal planning means in all your organizational setup, so that is what plan you do is formal planning. And informal planning is nothing but you for your parties you plan, or some functions you plan, so that is all informal planning, your house functions and all. Okay, so we'll just understand more about strategic and tactical planning through this difference. So strategic planning, it deals with the long term. Okay, long term is already a whole long term concept it is a. Tactical planning is a short term. Okay, and it implements the long term plan. Yeah, that strategic planning emphasis on doing the right things, that is effectiveness. It basically focuses on the effectiveness, whereas this is tactical planning focus on the efficiency, that is on doing things rightly. So top level, usually top level corporate managers do the strategic planning. Okay, and tactical planning is done by the lower level middle level or lower level. And here on strategic planning, the success factor depends on the well judgment or experience of the top management team. Okay, whereas tactical, it depends on the staff work and the models, each models, because every function you particular function you do it, you need to do a model of how you exactly have to do that work. Okay, so that success depends on the mathematical models and staff work. Yeah, strategic planning is more prone to unanticipated factors that may erupt to change the situation. Okay, and here it's very certain. Okay, so what is this last thing says? As a lot of things change during the entire course of your project. Okay, so it's a long term, right? So many things may change, so it's more prone to uh, unanticipated factors. Okay, like some example, now these days, see, one company might have planned something for 3 or 4 years thing. Okay, so in middle corona has come now, so that is one factor, unanticipated. No one has thought also corona will come. Now they have to change the thing, so that is what happens. That is a problem actually, what happens in this strategic planning. Okay, whereas tactical planning is only for function, particular function at it. We know exactly, know we have models and we know exactly what to do, so it has a greater element of certainty. Okay, so this is what we mainly discuss in this chapter, that is hierarchy of organizational plans. We will exactly understand what is vision, mission, objectives, strategies, and different kinds of plans. That is okay, that is operational plans. We have single plans. Under that we learn about programs and budget and standing plans. There we learn about policies, procedures, methods, and rules. Single use plan is we usually do it for a one particular activity, maybe a program or a budget. Standing plan, it is for a throughout. Okay, if that is like one policy you make in an organization for something, then that policy is valid for long or maybe permanent. Okay, depends on the organization. Yeah, for non-repetitive activities it is single use plans, and for repetitive activities it is standing plans. Let us discuss one by one. Okay, so let us understand what is objective and objective. What's the difference between vision, purpose, and objective? Okay, so objective is nothing but aim which management wants to achieve, that is objective. And what is vision? Vision is a dream. Okay, it's a dream that an entrepreneur creates in his working hours of his preferred future. Okay, like what his future should be. Okay, that dream, whatever he creates, okay, how his future should be. So that is vision. Okay, now what is purpose? Purpose is the primary role defined by a society, or it may be a broader aim. That is a mission. Mission is unique aim that sets the organization apart from other of its time. The mission, every organization has its own way of telling, okay, things. So own way of kind of telling its objective. So that is how it is different from other objective other organization. Okay, how its objective is different from other organizations objective of this other similar organization. Okay, so that is mission. So let us understand with a new example. Okay, so we'll understand exactly what is what, we'll understand now better. Okay, objective. So doing if you take an organization like studying organization, colleges, schools. Yeah, so its objectives can be to increase the number of intake by 10% by December 2018 by a particular time, any time. Okay, and to achieve 100% placements in the in current year. So what will be its purpose? Purpose is to impart a education. And what will be important? Give education. Okay, what is the mission? Mission is to provide the right environment to develop quality education for all, irrespective of caste, creed. So an organization will never see caste, creed. Okay, it will admit everyone. Okay, everyone, and give good education. Finally, what is its mission to is to create a good future leader. Okay, it also creates opportunity for pursuit of knowledge and all-round development. Okay, it also provide values. Okay, ethics, honesty. Okay, to students. So that's the mission. And what is vision? Okay, so vision is nothing but what the business future will look like. Okay, that is to be an engineering institute of highest repute and produce world-class engineers catering to the needs of mankind. So this may be a vision of one particular institution. Okay, another institution, similar institution. Okay, they have its own vision. Okay, which may be told in a different manner. Okay, this is one particular college. Okay, that it's a vision. Okay, every college will have its own vision. Remember both vision and mission. Yeah. So what are the characteristics? The objectives may be multiple in number, not one. Okay, they may be tangible or intangible. They may be measurable or may not be measurable. Okay, or they can be touchable or we cannot touch it. So that is objectives. They have a priority. Okay, they are generally arranged in a hierarchy. Okay, objectives sometimes clash with one another. Okay, and requirements of a sound good objective. So it must be clear and it should be acceptable, and the objectives must support each other. Okay, they also have a priority. They must be precise. Precise means it must be clear. Okay, and it should be measurable also, and it should be a valid objective. So that is a requirement of a sound objectives. Advantages. So objectives provide basis for planning. So if you have an objective, then you will know what to plan. So it provides as like it acts as a base. Okay, for a planning. So it also motivates. Okay, it also motivates. So it motivates you to do the work, and it will eliminate some dangerous thing happening. Okay, so it eliminates some haphazard action, and it facilitate coordinated behavior. Okay, next one is it is a basis for managerial control. Okay, so you coordinate things if you have an objectives, and it also helps managers to control better. Okay, and it also under helps in the better management. It also reduces misunderstanding and conflicts. Okay, it also provides legitimacy. So this is the advantages of the objectives. Strategies. Okay, what do you mean by strategies? A strategy is a plan which considers environmental opportunities and threats and organizational strengths and weakness and provides an optimal match between the firm and external environment. Okay, so it balances the things between the uh, strategy is nothing but you plan students. While you plan, you need to uh, you plan something for your organization. That time you are also considering the environments. Okay, that any threats or any opportunities. Okay, coming from the environment, which may help or which uh, might be a threat. Okay, so that is what called as strategies. So here there are two activities so involved while you're formulating a strategy, that is called environment appraisal and corporate appraisal. So what may be an environmental appraisal? Okay, that means you need to keep all these things in mind whenever you are doing a strategy. Okay, so you from outside from environment you may get a political and legal factors. Okay, example may be a stable government. Okay, taxation, licensing laws, etc. Economical economic factors, or maybe exchange rates, or maybe some economic development. Okay, some distribution of income. Okay, price fluctuations, all these things, or recent trends in prices, all these things. Some competitive factors. Okay, maybe who are your competitors and their performance. Okay, so all these things, some laws, patents, brands, names, etc. So all these are the competitive factors. And social and cultural factor, maybe literacy level, religious and social characteristics. Okay, rate of urbanization. Corporate appraisal, so it involves identifying analyzing the company's strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so that is the corporate appraisal. So example, maybe a company strength may be low cost manufacturing skill. Okay, so to a particular company may manufacture something at a very low cost, so that skill they have, no, so that that is its strength. Okay, so that is how it is. Or it may have some excellent product design, efficient distribution, and its weakness may be lack of physical and financial resources. Okay, so a company must plan to exploit these strengths to maximum and reduce its weakness. Okay, or the cover up its weakness. So that is what is called as corporate appraisal. Okay, now let us understand what is policy. A policy is a general guideline. Okay, it's a general guideline for decision making. Okay, it is nothing but it's a statement. It's a statement, or it may be written or told verbal, or it may be implied overall guide. Okay, setting up boundaries that supply the general limits and directions in which managerial action will take place. Example. Okay, so let us, though that's the definition, let us understand the example. There is an advertisement policy, that is to avoid cutthroat competition with its rivals. Okay, so there may be another example of recruitment policies. Take the best people. Okay, to fill the vacancies. So that is a policies. Okay, so it's in simple, it's a general guideline for decision making. Okay, yeah, so these are the different types of policies. So they may be on the basis of source, maybe on the functions, on the basis of organization. Okay, yeah. So next is advantage policies. So policies ensure uniformity of action at various organization points, which make actions more predictable. Okay, so things become more uniform. Okay, because we know exactly what to do. Okay, and even it reduces the uh, burden of the superiors, because they can give more and more authority to the subordinates, and in turn it also makes the life of the subordinates easy, because they need not ask for their seniors or superiors for each and everything. Okay, so by doing all these things the work speeds up. Okay, which is good for the industry. Okay, so it basically shapes up the objectives. This policies shapes up objectives. Okay, so that's the advantages. Yeah, next we'll go to the procedure. So what is a procedure? A procedure provides a detailed set of instructions for performing a sequence of actions involved in doing a certain piece of work. Okay, so what is procedure? So whenever you do a work, it gives you a proper step to do a work. Okay, so what are the advantages of a procedure? So they indicate a standard way of performing a task. Okay, because each of thing has its own procedure, so you got a standard way of doing a thing. They result in simplification and elimination of a waste. Yes. Okay, procedure improves the efficiency of employees, because employees will know exactly what to do, so it improves the efficiency. They do it faster and better. Okay, procedure serves as a tool of control by enabling managers to evaluation. So it basically helps to evaluate the performance of the subordinates. Okay, because if people are working according to the procedure, then managers exactly know whether they are doing the work properly or not. Okay, so it serves as a tool. Okay, that's about the procedure. So let us understand the difference between the policy and procedure. Policy, they are the general guidelines to both thinking and action of people at higher levels. Procedure, they are the guidelines to action only usually for the people at lower levels. So the basically policies are usually made at the top level, and procedures are made in the lower level. And policy helps in fulfilling the objectives of the enterprise, and procedure will show us how to do that, how to implement the policies. And policy is overall, okay, it's broad. okay, and it's implemented everywhere, and procedure is specific to specific work. Okay, and policy is whenever you do it a policy, you don't do much study. Okay, you make a policy based on what is better for your organization, whereas procedures, because to do any work there is a particular way of doing the work. So procedures are usually done after a thorough study and analysis. Okay, that is the difference between the policy versus procedure. Method. So what is a method? A method is a prescribed way in which one step of procedure is to be performed. Okay, so we come still narrow. Okay, it's a narrow in a procedure is an entire steps. It may be 4 or 5 steps. The method, it it focuses to one particular step. Okay, so it means an established method manner of doing an operation. So methods helps in increasing the effectiveness and usefulness of procedure. By improving methods, reduce fatigue, better productivity, and lower cost can be achieved. Okay, so these are the benefits of the methods. Rules. So what are the rules? We all know. So it's nothing but it's a detailed and recorded instructions, and that are more specific. Okay, it basically tells us what we need to do and what we need not do at a particular situation, and rules are more strict and policies, and if some rules are made, then we should not violate it, and if we violate the rules, then we are basically we need to face some kind of disciplinary action for doing that. Disciplinary action means punishment, for doing that means for breaking a rule. So that's the rules. Okay, so far we have discussed about the policies, procedures, methods, and rules. So all these are for the uh, non-repetitive action. Okay, so that's whereas non-repetitive action, sorry, it's for a repetitive action. Okay, it's for the repetitive action. That means what? uh, those plans basically are basically done for long for overall time. Okay, overall organization, and it's done for repeated activities. Okay, whereas programs next, so this is nothing but a single use plan. Okay, and this is non-repetitive. So basically here in programs, what do you mean by a program? First of all, they are precise plans or definite steps in proper sequence which need to be taken to discharge a given task. Okay, in simple words, it lays down the time to be taken for completing of each step. Okay, so in programming, what do you do in programs? So in a program, students, you basically plan in such a way that you give it time, okay, for each activity, and uh, also the uh, a way. For example, you will have an index of work, index of activities which need to happen. See, for example, if it is a birthday party. Okay, so how do you do? Basically, you first of all invite people. Okay, before invite people, you plan first of all, then you invite people, then after that you decorate your house. Okay, then people come. Okay, so once people come, uh, you basically you also bring a cake in between. Okay, then the person whose birthday is it, he will cut a cake. Okay, so for all these things, then you all will have a lunch. Okay, so for everything these activities, so it is happening one after another. Okay, and it should be in order. Remember, it should be in order, and for each step you need some budget. So that is what they are telling. Okay, so it's a complex of objective, procedure, policy, task assignment, steps to be taken, resources to be employed, and other elements to carry out a given course of action. Okay, that is about the programs. So in programs, your schedule is very important. Okay, and everything should happen according to schedule. Okay, next, budgets. So budgets, it simply tells you only about the financial aspect. Okay, whichever you allocate to a particular activity. Now that's what they're telling. Okay, So what is budget? A budget and or a quantitative statement prepared prior to definite period time of the policy to be pursued during that period for the purpose of obtaining a given objective. Okay, in simple, a budget is a statement of expected results expressed in quantitative terms, that is rupees, man hours, product units, etc. It also provides a standard by which actual operations can be measured and variation could be controlled. So there are various kinds of budget: sales budget, project budget, cash budget, revenue and expense budgets. That's about the budget. Okay, so let us come to one more important topic, that steps in planning. So let us, the steps, basically steps means what? It happens one after another. Okay, what do you do beginning of a plan? You establish goal. You establishing verifying verifiable goals or set of goals to be achieved. That means what? You decide your goal, what you want. Okay, you set the goal. Then once you decide what you want, you set the goal. Okay, next you establish the planning premises. Okay, so what do you mean by that? Okay, so there are various kinds of planning premises. Okay, what is required, okay, in that planning? Example, let us see the example. So there are three types is there: internal and external premises, tangible and intangible premises, controllable and non-controllable premises. Yeah, internal. Okay, so internal premises. So what you need to keep in your mind while you plan? Okay, so internal things, maybe a sales forecast, policies, programs of the organization, skill of labor. So you need to take care of all these things. External, maybe technological change, population growth. So external means outside the organization, internals within the organization. Some factors, sociological factors, some policies and regulations of the government. Tangible, intangible premises. So tangible, okay, which you have control over. Tangible, population growth, industry demand. So you can measure these things. Okay, capital and resources. Intangible, so this you can't measure. Okay, you don't have control over. Political stability, sociological factor, business and economic environment. Controllable and uncontrollable premises. Uncontrollable factors, strikes, wars, natural calamities, emergencies coming. So you can't control all this. Controllable. Okay, so maybe a company's advertising agency. Okay, advertising, how the company should advertise all these things. Competence of management's members, skill of labor force. Okay, availability of resources in terms of capital and labor. So all these things you can control these things. Okay, so that's what they are telling. So you need to establish the planning premises, that is what is internal, what is external, what you can measure, what is in you cannot measure. Okay, what is under your control and what's not your control. Okay, once you set the goals, you need to set the premises. So once you do that, then you go decide the time period, okay, of your plan. So that is also very important. Okay, so why do you need a time period? Yeah, see, lead time, what do you mean by a time period? Okay, that is lead time in development and commercialization of a new product. Okay, so it's already told, time required to recover capital investments or payback period. So to do any product, you need raw materials, right? So you pay for that raw materials. So once your product is manufactured, you get profits. So you need to take your initial investment, or you cover your initial investment in that profit. So that time, how much is required to, that is payback period, that's called as payback period. That is like once you start getting profits. Okay, once you take the resource, you invest, you take the resource, you make the product. Then once your product is ready, you start selling it, then you get some profits. Then finally you have to get the profit to such a way, or such a man, you should get profit. See, you should start getting profit where you cover your investment, initial investment, as simple as that. So that is called as payback period. Then length of commitments already made. Okay, so once you do this, then you should see, so you get one plan here. Okay, then you should find any alternative plan is there or not. You have to search, because that alternative plan may be cheaper. Okay, so that is what you have to see next. Then you have to evaluate that uh, you have to see with if you have an alternative, in that alternative you have to evaluate those alternative first. Then finally you have to decide which to take. Okay, which alternative or the main thing whatever plan that you have to take or not. That is evaluating and selecting a course of action. Then developing derived plans. Okay, so derived plans means what? Once you select the plan, then when you work, you get you need to do small plan, because one activity you do an overall plan for that, but there is within that there may be a small things, so you have to develop plan for do plans for those also. So that's called as derived plans. Then once you do that, then you need to control, okay, the progress, that is whether the work is happening properly or not. That is called as, that is what basically steps in planning. Okay, thank you students.